Anyone hear me?
Yes, Al, I can hear you.
Thank you.
Are we ready to proceed?
Good to see you, Commissioner
Yes.
Shabeta.
Okay, Commissioners, please have your microphones on. Ms. Matias, we are live, we are streaming. You may proceed with today's public review session.
Okay, good. Oh, my mic is on. Good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals review session for June 16, 2025. We'll begin with the decision items. Item number 1, 595, 44BZ, Volume 4, 30 Central Park South, Manhattan.
Okay, applicant provided all the responses to the questions that were raised regarding timeline and violations. So is everybody satisfied with the information that's been provided? I want to then make a motion to approve for a 10-year extension of term with condition that certificate of occupancy be obtained within 24 months from the date of the grant. Everybody?
And it'll be 10 years from July 12th, 2020.
Yes, yes,
July what?
2025.
yeah.
From the expiration, which has not happened.
Motion to approve, Chair Shanda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta. I don't hear you. Oh, sorry. Just for the record to note that Commissioner Shabeta and Commissioner Sheta are attending remotely. I still can't hear you, Commissioner Sheta. It's a day today.
My office is saying restart. Office is saying restart.
Say no. Maybe we recall this.
Well, no, if I can't
But
hear.
we
it.
need to, we have so many decision cases.
Yeah, how am I going to
So
do
we need
that?
Commissioner Sheta.
No.
But do we need him?
Try it again, Commissioner Sheta.
We have a quorum, that is true.
You know.
I still can't hear you.
could call in.
Can you call in, Commissioner Sheta?
We need him to vote on these things.
Do you hear me now?
Yes,
I vote aye.
thank you. Commissioner Yu,
Hi.
an echo. Application is granted. 595-44BZ has been granted. Item number 2, 328-53BZ, 3424 East Tremont Avenue, the Bronx.
Okay. I went to the site, it looked in good condition, so to make a motion to, there were no submissions required. Approve with the following conditions. That hours of operation for the auto repair will remain unchanged. It will stay as Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And for the gasoline service station and snack bar will be amended to a 24/7 operation. That the subject site shall not be used for U-Haul parking or any other commercial vehicles that are not awaiting repair. And there shall be no sales of vehicles from the subject site. Violating the condition will void this grant. And I want our resolution to refer to the latest affidavit that was signed by the operator and U-Haul.
Motion to approve, Chair Shanda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta. Oh, sorry,
Aye.
Commissioner Brown, sorry. Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. Item number 3, 827-55BZ, 245-20 139th Avenue, Queens.
Okay, provided a letter. Is everything open? Okay. Applicant provided a letter agreeing to the additional conditions, though the cover letter states that statement of fact has been revised to include the additional conditions. It does not. However, board should proceed to approve based on the letter. And so the motion is to approve an extension of time for a 20-month period. to obtain the certificate of occupancy from the date of the grant, with the additional conditions that there will be no parking of vehicles on the sidewalk or in such a manner to obstruct pedestrian and vehicular traffic, and that all automobile repairs will take place within the base of the auto repair building, and no repair work shall be permitted outdoors or by the curbside. Is everybody okay with that?
Okay, call the roll.
Yep.
Motion to approve, Chair Shanda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon. Aye. Application has been granted. Item number 4, 26367BZ, 10802 Otis Avenue, Queens.
Okay, we received a submission last Friday where the applicant has revised the plans, especially with regards to the illumination plan for the uses that are located along Van Cleef. So applicant also submitted a draft builder's pavement plan for the 2 existing curb cuts that are located along Van Cleef Street and revised signage. This draft builder's pavement plan should be part of our submission document so that they know that
Okay.
they have to file a formal builder's pavement plan. Does that make sense? Can a draft builder's pavement plan be?
It could be, but our only concern is since we're not approving it, it might cause them to be
Confusion.
sent back
Okay.
for a letter of substantial compliance.
All right. So then.
If
then-
there's specific language,
Okay, then I'll put it in our conditions. So thank you. So everybody okay with the submission that was made? So I want to make a motion to approve the amendment of the use and legalization of the non-illuminated signs with the following conditions. That the illuminated signage shall be limited to as per the BSA approved plan. Except for legalization of one illuminated sign as per approved plan, all other signage along Van Cleef shall be limited to non-illuminated sign, and the total surface area of such non-illuminated signs shall be limited to 150 square foot per establishment. And illuminated signs shall be turned off after 11 p.m. And the curb cuts shall be restored as per approved plan. So the applicant has to submit a builder's pavement plan for these curb cut restoration, and the applicant shall restore as per the approved plan pursuant to DOT, DOB approval, and to be built to DOT standard within 18 months.
Can I just make one suggestion? You said 150 square feet of non-illuminated signage per use. But I believe the regulation is 3 times the frontage of each use, up to 150 square feet, right?
no.
It-
for a step.
Per establishment.
I'm sorry, per establishment, but it should be,
It's actually the zoning, so you're right. Zoning regulation does say 150 square foot per use. However, the way it has been practiced at the DOB is that if a zoning lot, street frontage has more than one establishment, the 150 square foot is then divided up by each establishment. So
and I'm not contesting that. I was saying that it's 3 times the frontage, up to 150 square feet. So if we just say 150 square feet, that could be in theory giving them more than they're permitted per establishment or per use, because it's 3 times the frontage. These are
Yes.
small,
it is.
so saying 150 per gives them quite a bit of leeway.
It is unfortunately, but that is how DOB has,
So not 3
applied
times
it.
the frontage.
it is 3 times, it is 3 times frontage when it's one establishment. But when there are multiple establishments on the zoning lot, it counts it as 150 per establishment and almost treating each establishment as zoning lot.
Could we say that we limit it to the underlying zoning regulation then?
If we do it, then all these uses would have.
There
maybe
are
one way
no,
of-
It's an R5, so there are no underlying sign regulations here.
Apply the
But
C1.
if we were to say that it must otherwise comply with C1 zoning district regulations.
We could do that.
Okay, I just don't want to inadvertently grant a larger signage per establishment.
Yeah, and these have to be only limited to non-illuminated signs. No illuminated signs shall be permitted except for the sign related to the supermarket that is located at the corner, because that's the legalization that is being granted. All right, I'm fine with that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
It's in the battery. Oh, can you plug that in? Thank you. No, you plugged it in. Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, 26367BZ, motion to approve. Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown.
Aye.
Where's my thing screen now? Okay, here we go, yeah. Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. Item number 5, 30879BZ, 43 Clark Street, Brooklyn.
So we have not received a community board approval yet. However, the letter from the applicant states that the community board did hold a full board meeting on May 21st and recommended an approval. Plans have been revised, statement of facts also revised, and the information that the board had asked for has been addressed. Commissioners, were you satisfied with the submission revisions that were sent? Okay. So then make a motion to approve the proposed amendment and a 2-year extension of time.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Vice Chair Shabeta?
can he not hear me?
I can hear you. I'm sorry. It's my mute button seems to get stuck. Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Item number 6, 2017-261BZ, 527 East New York Avenue, Brooklyn.
This is an extension of time. No submission was required. Motion to approve a 4-year extension of time from the date of the prior expiration date, which was in October of, which will be in October of 2025, to complete construction and obtain a certificate of occupancy.
Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta.
Aye.
Oops. Sorry. Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
You, application has been granted. Item number 7, 2022-88BZ, 318 Seguin Avenue, Staten Island.
Okay, just 1 second. I'm just scrolling down my notes. We did receive revised plans, and based on the revised plan, amount of open space has been increased, and so has the planting area. And the additional details, as we had asked, has been provided. Did everybody look through the revision? Everybody satisfied with the submission?
That's a.
Okay. Then I make a motion. Also, the community, the applicant as directed has sent the revised set of documents to the community board. We did not receive any feedback from the community board. So I want to proceed to make a motion to approve with the following conditions: that the hour of operation is limited to Mondays through Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The site shall be secured after business hours. Landscaping shall be provided and maintained as per approved plan. and any change in operator shall require an approval from the board.
Motion to approve. Chair Shanda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
excuse me, Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application has been granted. Item number 8, 2024-57BZ, 13618 39th Avenue, Queens.
One second. Okay, this is. So we received the revised operational plan and the proposed signage. And also the correction has been made to the TDF memo. Ms. Benke, do we have a sign off on the environmental?
Yes, it's complete.
Okay. Did everybody have a chance to look through all the documents that's been submitted? I want to proceed with an approval with the following conditions. The hours of operation of the parking garage shall be limited to 8 a.m. through 8 p.m. Mondays through Friday and 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. That during these working hours, the garage on 39th Avenue shall be kept open. That during these working hours, an attendant shall be available on site to take visitors' vehicles to park in the garage. That there shall be a sign conspicuously posted at the attendant's desk with the phone number to contact the attendant for assistance when and if the attendant is away for a brief period of time from the desk. And the sign should be included into the plan set, which it was not. So that should be, they should revise just that set of plan and submit it immediately. That the reservoir space shall be available and unobstructed for customers to park while waiting for assistance from the attendant. All doctor's office within the building shall be required to send parking instruction notifications to patients for all scheduled appointments. The number of parking spaces approved by BSA shall not be reduced or exceeded, and layout shall be subject to DOB approval. No certificate of occupancy shall thereafter be issued if the use is changed to a use listed in parking category A2 without approval from the board to permit additional accessory off-street parking spaces sufficient to meet such requirements are provided on the site or within the permitted off-site radius. Is everybody satisfied with those conditions? Okay, we can second call it for tomorrow. So modify the plan to add that signage. We'll second call this, but those are the conditions that remain.
Okay, second.
Unless we even receive it by the end of the day, we can also proceed with that.
Item number 9, 2025-03BZ, 3540 Nostrand Avenue, Brooklyn.
Okay, this is a drive-through. We did receive revised plans, vertical barriers along the rear yard. So all the information that we asked for has been provided. And stop bar signs and the drive-through pull forward signs, all of those that we discussed have been provided. Signage analysis has been updated. And there, yeah, and the photos of the rear lot line conditions also have been provided. So I was satisfied with the information. We also have a WRP sign off. Do we have the environmental sign off, Ms. Benke?
Yes, it is complete.
Great, thank you. So if everybody is satisfied with the submission, I want to proceed with the motion to approve with the following conditions. That AVC shall be on at all times. Landscaping and signage shall be provided and maintained as shown on BSA approved plans. That the fencing at the subject site shall be well maintained and kept in good appearance and repaired accordingly. That signage shall conform to shall comply with C12 district regulations, and the lumen level shall not exceed 2-foot candle at the lot line, especially at the rear lot line. Lighting shall be directed so as not to shine directly onto neighboring properties. Trash containers shall be kept within the trash enclosure. That the operators of the restaurant shall cause minimum, shall ask extermination service to perform at the site on a bi-monthly basis. Those are the conditions.
Motion to approve, Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta. Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown. Aye. Commissioner Sheta.
Aye.
There's an echo. Commissioner Yoon.
Yes.
Application's been granted. Appeals calendar. Continued hearing items, 2024-47A, 2315B, DeMeyer Street, the Bronx.
Okay, owner of 2315B is being represented by Mr. Dale. And we received a letter from the owner's representative. It provides an update on the filing application at DOB. And to do that, DOB has to remove the hold on the site for the architect to file the application to be accepted. And it seems the borough office, DOB borough office has been asked to remove that hold. I just saw there's some additional information that was submitted. I unfortunately, because of my computer issue, I've not had the chance to review it. I will review it during the break. Anybody who has reviewed it can give me an update. That will be appreciated also. Vice Chair Shabeta. Vice Chair Shabeta.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Chair. I have nothing further to add.
Okay. Commissioner Otley Brown.
I have no comments.
Okay. Commissioner Sheta.
Thank you, Chair. The latest I saw is I believe it's an email from the DOB saying that the applicant is now aware that the hold is lifted. So
Was
this is the
lifted.
latest.
They said the hold was lifted. The applicant is trying to make a submission with the buildings department.
Okay. I hope that, I'm assuming DOB representative will be at the meeting and give us more
Yeah.
update. Commissioner Yoon.
Thank you. I mean, I looked briefly at what we got this morning, but we've gotten a couple of things.
Right. One is from the neighbor, Ms.
One is the series of
Madripoor,
photos.
and the other is
documents.
from the property owner of the other, Mr. Vitucci, whatever.
So,
They came in late, I'm sorry.
yeah. So just because you asked if any of us had looked at it briefly, the neighbor has submitted a package of photos and screenshots of some text. I haven't gotten a chance to go through the whole thing. We also got something from the applicant of 2315B stating that the architect hasn't filed the job yet, but that there's an outline of work. There's some drawings and some screenshots from DOB or DOB now. So we can all take a look at that during the break, but that's what we've seemed to receive this morning.
Okay. Thank you for that update.
I have nothing further to add.
Special order calendar, continued hearing items, 41687BZ, 547, 551 West 133rd Street, Manhattan.
Yeah, I want to apologize. This was initially being shown as a close, but it's actually, we had reopened it, but we hadn't closed it. So the applicant is going to be present today to give us an update. But between the reopening and today, we have received a lot more update, and it seems it's moving along in the right direction. On on May 22nd, Auto Body Pro filed an application to DOB to install a prefabricated spray booth on the second floor. Auto Body occupies, as you know, there are two operators. Auto Body occupies the second floor. And DOB has issued a permit for the spray booth, and a printout also to that of that approval has been provided. And FDNY also has been notified of the spray booth. And prior to installing the spray booth, the operator needs a notice to proceed from OER. Applicant states that the architect of record is in the process of submitting this material to OER. So maybe the applicant's representative, the applicant can give us an update today if that has happened and the timeline. Contract regarding the prefabricated spray booth has been provided, and it is supposed to arrive today. So we can also get an update as to the status of the delivery. The statement of fact has been revised regarding the amendment to the hours of operation for the Auto Pro body, in that the Auto Pro is proposing to extend the hour of operation for Saturday, instead of closing at 1 p.m., proposing to close at 3 p.m. I think it's pretty reasonable. And the other operator is not proposing any change. So I'm quite fine with that. And the approved DOB spray booth plan, here is a question. Should that be also included as part of a submission document? Yes. So please include that as part of our submission package. Vice Chair Shibata.
Thank you, Chair. I have nothing more to add.
Commissioner Otley Brown.
I'm fine with the expansion of hours and I have no additional questions or comments.
Commissioner Shetta.
Thank you, Chair. I'm okay with the proposed hour of operation, the new hour of operation, and I did look at like the various submissions they made, and I agree with you that the project is moving in the right direction. That I believe the applicant also requested that we extend the time for the decision until in August. Hopefully by that time they will be done with the approvals they needed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Yoon.
Thank you. I have no comments.
New cases, item number 12, 41350BZ, 691 East 149th Street, the Bronx.
So we received proof of service of initial filing and hearing notices. This is an application. We have not received a community board vote. This is an application for a 10-year extension of term for a previously approved grant for a gasoline service station, which expires in November of 2025. The history on this site with BSA starts from 1950s, and last grant was back in 2018. There is a TCO that was obtained back in 2022. The applicant in its statements represents that the lot area of the zoning lot has remained unchanged, thus meeting the 11-41 finding. Proof of continuous use is not required. With regards to the compliance chart, applicant needs to provide a compliance chart of all prior board grants. It only has the latest one. It wasn't quite clear to me if prior board did have any conditions with regards to the hour of operation. If the applicant can clarify at the hearing, that would be good. With regards to the lighting, previously approved lumen plan has been provided, which is not legible. So I think in light of everything that we are reviewing, the applicant needs to add a note that all lighting near abutting residential lot lines shall be directed downwards, shielded from direct view and away from residents, and that the lumen level along the property lines abutting these adjacent residential uses shall not exceed 2-foot candle. So the landscaping along Trinity Avenue So this is a zoning law that extends from one street to the other. It's a block front. And there is an enclosed parking space. There is landscaping along that enclosed parking space. Based on my site visit, there was no landscaping along that enclosure. So the landscape is woefully inadequate. That needs to be fixed. Overall, the site condition seemed to be in good shape, but I was not able to locate the parking spaces that are located along the rear lot line. So please stripe the parking spaces. Also, the parking signs that indicate that these parking spaces along the rear lot line are employee parking was also not visible. The sign has faded. So please make those corrections. And there were no open violations on this site. Vice Chair Shibeta.
Can't hear you.
Again, it keeps getting stuck. Thank you, Chair. I did have the similar statements as with regard to landscaping. I also looked through the Google photos from of the area from time, and it seems that they did have some graffiti problems as well as some cars parked in the other lot that looked like they were associated to this lot. I just want some clarification with that.
So based on my site visit, I didn't see any graffiti along the site, so it may have it has been cleaned up. There's a brand new building abutting this site, so things are looking actually much
better.
Much better. And again, moment in time when I was there, I didn't see any vehicles parked on the sidewalk, but the applicant can clarify.
Thank you.
Commissioner Otley Brown.
I have no additional comment.
Okay. Commissioner Sheta.
Thank you, Chair. I wanted them to address the violations in the statement of facts. Also, if you look at the photos, starting photo 1, 2, 3, the most clear one is photo 13. There are 2 drums present on site. If they can provide clarifications why these 2 drums are present on site. The lumen spread diagram is provided, but I have 2 comments with regard to it. Number 1, it's not legible. Number 2, it has a stamp that says previously approved, and I'm talking about the existing proposed set. If this is the existing proposed, it shouldn't, that specific plan shouldn't have a stamp that says previously approved. Then if you look at that, like more closer to that plan, you're gonna see that at the residential property line, there are values that exceed 7. There are, I can read 10.8, 11, 11.3, I believe, 7.1, again, 10.8. So if you look at that building, I believe it's kind of a plain wall. Yes, there are like some windows up there above the lights itself, the light units itself. So I was hoping for like some like disclaimer for whoever prepared that plan, some sort of language saying that these lumen values are shown at 3 feet above grade or something like that. And then the tallest, another note that says the tallest light pole is such and such. And beyond that, it is not expected that's going to be any lumen spread to the adjacent residential. Some sort of like disclaimer for someone who, when he looks at that, the values that they submitted, the 11 and the 10 point something and the 7 point something, it stops his thinking from like being afraid that there is a significant lumen spread to that adjacent residential. So it just needs some care from whoever prepared the plan. So number 1, take the stamp off, make it legible, and please clarify about these values, the 10 point so, the 11 point so. Thank you.
Okay, I just want to, I think when we were reviewing this before, there was probably a 1-story building or nothing almost. Right now, what we have is a lot line 6-story tall apartment building. and the windows are located at least 15 to 20 feet from the base, from the curb line. So I think this lumen diagram is useless, honestly speaking, because you have a solid wall and the residential uses are located at least 20 foot above. So there is not going to be any light that is going to cast, it's going to impair the residential. However, the notes that I suggested makes more sense because we just want to make sure that at no point these lights are going to be directed in such a way that will affect those windows that are facing the lot line. Of course, I don't even know if these are legal lot line windows because that's a lot line. So you're not supposed to have these windows unless you got some approval somewhere that allows you to have these windows, legal lot line windows along the side lot line. But be that as it may, I think what is important in this case is that any light post that we have on this site shall not cast any light into this residential building, and therefore they need to be placed downwards. They should be facing downwards, and shielding should be provided as needed to minimize any kind of lumen spreading into these windows. But as evident from these photos, these lights are at a lower height than where these windows are.
You're barely at the start of the windows, Steve. If you look at that one,
They're actually
it's
lower
right
than-
there.
it kind of looks that way, but from the site visit, they were lower than the height of the window.
Okay.
So I would say that is the information that is more critical. And if there are any lights that are facing towards the building, we need to make sure any such lights will be casted down and away so that it will not be reflecting into these windows. So I'm Commissioner Sheta. I would say, instead of that information that you're asking, that we kind of take away this lumen plan here, which doesn't make sense, given that we have a solid window, a solid wall with lot line windows. That
It's better to take it away. If it's taken away, it's much better, in my opinion, than leaving a luminous spread that's talking about 11.8 foot candles at a residential lot line without a clarification that we have a plain wall, without a clarification that the light pole is lower than the adjacent window. So take it out if you want.
and add the notes that I suggested.
Yeah,
Okay.
and add a note saying that it's not going to exceed 2.0.
Yeah. So let me read the note that I said, is that all lighting near the residential lot lines shall be directed downwards, shielded from direct view and away from residences, and the lumen level along the property line abutting the adjacent residential use shall not exceed 2-foot candle.
Yep. And these are, by the way, these are the two drums I was talking about.
These are, yes.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner
Oh,
Young?
and I'm sorry. The maneuverability plan, I saw it in the previously approved, but I didn't see it here. And also I didn't see a compliance chart.
Compliance chart? Okay.
Well, the compliance chart that we have is only for 2018, and I want the applicant to provide, and this is a standard ask we seem to be asking. It shouldn't be just for the latest compliance, because oftentimes the old conditions, prior conditions, board conditions, some of them stay on the books and some do get superseded. So the applicant needs to go through all the conditions that has been enforced on this site and indicate which one are still in effect, which one have been superseded, which are not applicable anymore, and proceed accordingly. Don't just show the 2018 one, because we don't know what the prior conditions from prior boards are still in effect. Please do provide that.
If they apply to the current existing conditions, just rename them 2025 compliance chart. Just rename it. But if sometimes even site conditions may change, and if site conditions change, they may impact the compliance in some with some conditions. So it's always like healthy to submit an up-to-date compliance chart. And if you believe that the previous one applies totally to the current conditions, just like copy and paste and rename it. But please make it says 2025, not whatever was before.
Okay, we can discuss that internally and give them the proper guidance.
Understood. Thank you.
Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. The only comments I have, I found the overall description of the site confusing because there is some reference in prior resolutions to tax lot 141. And it seems like it was never subdivided, but the
Right.
description in the statement of facts for this current application does not describe the parking lot as part of the subject site. It is part of the subject tax lot. It is not part of what's before the BSA, but that is not very clearly stated. So I went through all the resolutions to understand what the history was with tax lot 141, and I think that would be better placed as a summary in the statement of facts, because it was very unclear to me what the relationship to the parking lot was based on this current application.
And I remember when I joined the board, I was there then, and that is the same set of confusions we had back then. And it seems to have been a cut and paste from then.
Okay.
So I
And
think your point is well noted, and that needs to be corrected. You're absolutely right.
And then the other thing, which maybe you also remember, is that we haven't heard from community board yet, as you mentioned, Chair, but back in 2005 and in 2018, there were objections from the community board. And I think in 2018, at that time, there were 15 letters of opposition. We haven't seen anything yet, but it would be great if we could get some feedback from the community board to hear whether or not things have improved at the site.
Okay,
Right.
we'll reach out to them again.
Yeah.
Okay, move on. Are you
E-
ready?
Yes.
Okay, 64559 BZ, 108 24 Flatlands Avenue, Brooklyn. I don't know if that's right.
Just give me a second. I'm sorry, I'm just having a momentary computer glitch. Okay. Thank you. Sorry about that. So this is an extension of term. We received proof of service of initial filing and hearing notice. It's a 10 years extension of term. The applicant is seeking for a previously approved variance for an operation of a gasoline service facility with an accessory convenience store, which will expire in October of 2025. Board has a history on this site since 1960. Last grant was in 2019, and there is a CO that was obtained in 2020. The applicant in its statement represents that the lot area of the zoning lot has remained unchanged, thus meeting the finding of 11-41. Again, please provide a compliance assessment, compliance chart of all prior board grants as discussed with the earlier case. There seems to be no change that is being asked. The only thing I would say, again, with the lighting, the previously approved lumen plan that has been provided, which is not legible. And in this case, since the site is not abutting any residential use, including any residential use, and it's my recommendation will be to add a note instead of the old lumen plan, add the following note instead, and it should say that the lighting shall not exceed the building code mandated minimum, since it's abutted by a community facility use. And overall, based on the photos provided and the Google Street View, the site seems to be in good condition. There aren't any open violation. Vice Chair Shibata.
Thank you, Chair. I have nothing to add.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
I have no comments.
Commissioner Shetta,
Thank you, Chair. I thought you meant the board mandated maximum, not shouldn't exceed the board mandated maximum, not minimum, right?
a minimum. Yes, thank you. Yes.
It should be maximum, right?
Uh,
It shouldn't
Uh-huh.
exceed the maximum board mandated values of 2.0, right?
Well, building code mandated, the building code has a minimum.
Yes, that's correct. And the board has a maximum for the adjacent residential lot lines, if any, of course.
In this case, there aren't any residential uses, it's
Understood.
community. So that's why reverting to the building code. date.
Okay. Okay. So I believe the note should say it shouldn't be below the code mandated minimum. The lumen spread over the entire site shouldn't be less than the code mandated minimum.
But I also don't want it to be more. So that's why I don't want it to exceed. It should meet the minimum of the DOB requirement. I don't want it to exceed it.
Well, I thought the mandated minimum is for like clarity and vision at
Right.
subject site. And if you exceed it, there is no issue with that. That's my understanding too. If
So the building code writes it as providing the minimum. But at the same time, I don't want it to exceed that minimum.
But that's impossible because if you ask them not to exceed the minimum and the code asks them not to be below the minimum, that means that we're asking them to be at the minimum exactly over the entire site, which is practically impossible. Right?
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
I think-
it shouldn't be below the code mandated minimum. That's what we should say.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can think about it, but that's what I believe.
Okay.
My comments are like specify the block and lot number in the statement of facts. There are no like kind of information about the subject lot in the statement. Again, address violation, the lumen spread, like you said, Chair, I agree that they should take it off. Compliance, and again, no maneuverability plan is provided, although the previously approved set contains one. Thank you.
Commissioner Yoon?
Thank you. I had a question about signage. The statement of facts on page 3 says that C23 permits 150 square feet of illuminated, non-flashing. It should be 50 square feet. And
Right.
currently it's showing an excess of 50 square feet of illuminated. It should be broken down also by frontage since it's a corner lot. So the previously approved plans do seem to list the signage, but it would be helpful if we were comparing the previous to the current and showing that broken down by frontage so we know exactly how much we are in excess on each frontage.
Yep, good catch. Thank you. So signage by frontage and break it down by illuminated and non-illuminated.
And to just change the language that a C23 does not permit 150 square feet, it's 50 square feet. So if we are relying on a previous approval, that should be clearly stated in the narrative.
Yes, agree. Thank you. So revise the narrative also.
Revise the
Narrative and the plan is okay?
The plan shows the signage. It's just, I didn't go through and tally up the previous and
Okay.
cross compare.
To make sure the narrative and the plan are consistent.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, this concludes the review session for June 16th, 2025. We'll resume. It's 10:56. Do you want to?
So let's resume at 11:15. We need just time to make sure we review,
Yeah, see
have
what's,
reviewed all the latest submission.
yeah, okay.
And as I'm having a computer issue, Okay, want to resolve that also.
11:16.
Good morning, everyone. If you
Apologies.
could just bear with us for a few minutes, we're just updating one of the systems.
Chair, apologies. I was getting,
Thank you for your patience. Our technical difficulty has been resolved. We are recording, we are streaming. Ms. Matias, you may proceed with today's public hearing.
Because off. Good morning. This is the New York City Board of Standards and Appeals public hearing for June 16, 2025. We'll begin with the appeals calendar, continued hearing items. Item number 10, 2024-47A, 2315B, DeMeyer Street, the Bronx.
so I let DOB representative and representative of the site 2315 in.
So
And we also have a representative in the audience who is I think who is in opposition.
Right,
So,
Ms.
but first it has to be DOB since it's a DOB application, DOB representative. Oh, they're in support of DOB
Yes.
applications, right? Yes, thank you. Thank you for the clarification. I did, during the break, I did look through the latest submission that has been made by the property owner of 2315B of the type of submission that is going to be submitted and also photos provided by the neighbors. And during the hearing, hopefully both representatives and board can give, DOB can give us more update.
So no one needs to be sworn in. This is an appeals case. Ms. Brandon, do you wish to please start? This is your application, DOB's application.
Hi, good morning. I wanted to provide an update. So as you alluded to, there was a hold placed on the property and that was just administrative so that when anything attempted to get filed, it would flag the borough office. But as of June 5th, the hold was lifted, allowing the applicant to submit an application. To date, we have not received a new filing as we had indicated was required. So we're still waiting on that in order for the applicant to demonstrate that they are compliant with City of Yes amendments, which we do anticipate they will be.
I've emailed you something that Mr. Vertucci submitted. Did you receive my email earlier?
I did receive the email. It has to be submitted as a new application so that the borough office, the plan examiners can review to actually determine whether or not they are compliant. It appears to be a summary, so I'm not sure why they haven't submitted a filing to date.
Okay.
Sure.
Hi, is it DOB's position that, well, let me ask a few questions. Will DOB allow opportunity for the building owner to submit plans to demonstrate compliance?
Yes.
Okay, and if those plans do demonstrate compliance with City of Yes amendments, will DOB withdraw its revocation action?
We will withdraw the action, but only after we issue a new CO. So once we can determine that they're compliant with the new amendments, we can issue a new CO. And then after we do so, we can withdraw the application as moot, if that's the case.
Okay, is there a time clock in which DOB needs that to occur?
I mean, we've given them many months to submit an application demonstrating this. It's open for them to do so. The holdup is on the applicant at this point in time, so we're waiting for the application.
And what is the process generally once the application is filed at DOB?
Generally speaking, it depends. It could take 2-3 months. Here, I'm not sure it's going to take that long, given that they're just demonstrating that they're already compliant, they're lawful here. So I really can only provide an estimate, but if they get the application in, the borough is well aware of this proceeding and they're ready to review an application once they get it.
Okay. So, and can you mention what you stated again, that you will revoke provided a new COA is obtained?
Correct.
Will
But
withdraw.
only after a new CO is obtained.
Right, will withdraw provided, right?
Okay.
That's what I.
And that DOB will allow this action to remain on the calendar, provided that the applicant does submit an application.
Yeah, I think the only question
Right.
that timeframe.
Yeah, the time frame is 2 to 3 months, you're saying, if once submitted.
Right.
Okay.
I guess I was saying the time frame that we would allow for them to submit that application.
Oh, right, that we have to discuss.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
That seems to be up in the air.
Yeah.
Do we want, Carlo, is there a problem?
No, not a problem. I concur with Commissioner Yoon's comment, just so that we can properly schedule. So we should, it just doesn't go into a void. We need a time frame with a follow-up.
Do we, Mr. Dale? Yes, Mr. Dale, go ahead.
Hi, good morning, Todd Dale, representing the property owner. As you are aware, we were just recently retained to help the property owner, who is not a developer, navigate this system. I just want to thank everybody's patience in working with this. As noted by Ms. Brandon, the hold was removed on June 5th when there's a new architect that they're working with. Part of our representation was assisting the property owner in finding a new architect for this filing. That new architect is been retained with the hold remove. We were actually hopeful that we would have something filed by this hearing. It's not done, but in discussion with the property owner and the architect, we believe it should be filed soon. I wish I could give a more specific time frame. But as noted, we believe that the building will be in compliance with new City of Yes regulations. We can follow up in a submission, but just briefly, the sections that were cited in the original Department of Buildings objections were for the pre-City of Yes zoning sections, but under 23-371, which is the minimum distance between buildings, previously it was 30 feet. It has been changed for buildings that are 35 feet or less in the zoning district to allow a 15-foot distance, and there's a 21.05 foot distance between the buildings. So we believe that that will resolve the objection. And then with respect to floor area, under the prior guidelines, there was a limitation of 0.5 FAR, but under 23-21, after City of Yes, the maximum is now 0.75 FAR. And the current zoning lot, this is a zoning lot that includes both this specific building and then the building that fronts onto Meyer Street. So it is a zoning lot with two buildings. The combined FAR is 0.61, so it will be compliant with that. And then also with respect to, it wasn't raised as an objection, but under City of Yes, there's a requirement that there be one parking lot per dwelling unit, and there will be able to be 4 parking spaces on the existing zoning lot without disturbing any of the existing uses of the building. They'll be able to provide it in the open space area in the lot. But this will all be included in the submission, and we can include a written summary to the board prior to the next submission of just briefly detailing what is expected with the filing. And then as soon as it's filed, we'll provide that information to the board, and then we'll just work, being in communication with both the Department of Buildings and the board to move this forward to getting the certificate of occupancy.
I think, thank you for that clarification. All the conditions that the various zoning resolution sections that you have cited has to be reviewed by DOB, and they need to ensure that the zoning lot complies with all the underlying applicable regulations in order for DOB to proceed with the next steps, that is withdrawing this application, provided a CO. Do provide that in writing, and it will be sent to DOB. My biggest question is, why is it taking so long? We did receive a submission from the property owner, which shows the nature of submission that will be made. I'm assuming you too have seen that. And
I did copy Mr. Dale.
right.
Yes, I have that. I will formally submit that to the board along with the summary of what I just spoke to. Understanding that DOB still needs to review it, but I can just provide a brief narrative of what the expectation is for the filing and what the intent of the filing is. And, we're not asking the board to make the decision on that. We just wanted to provide that information to the record so you understand what will be reviewed by the Department of Buildings. We'll have it formally submitted. And, with respect to the delay, I would just say that, we were only retained fairly recently, and we were working to help the owner get a new architect for this filing and help them navigate the process. And as noted, there was a hold on this until last week for the filing. There was an attempt at the filing which did this, but we would confidently say that things are moving forward, that we understand this needs to be addressed and will be addressed. And we're really assisting the property owner in sort of navigating a system that he's not necessarily familiar with. And hopefully we can speed this process along.
I suggest that the application be submitted to DOB as soon as possible, provided the information all submitted has been reviewed and has been, it's not just submitting a document that is correct and meets all the questions that has been raised. Be submitted as soon as possible in order for DOB to act on it.
Great.
Any questions or comments from the commission?
I have a
Commissioner
comment
Young?
on what we received from Mr. Vitucci, which was, I think the intent was to indicate their intent to file. But I find those documents confusing because they're filed. It's a printout of a DOB now screenshot for the adjacent block that has nothing to do with the subject site under a different architect and a set of drawings with no title block or architect indicated. So all of that doesn't really help us. It just confuses us, I think. At least that's my opinion. So I'd rather only see submissions that seem relevant to this subject site with the correct bin, the correct actual application number, so as not to confuse the file.
We agree, and we would actually say that the submission that was made, it wasn't formally made a submission of the record, and we'd actually would advise, I don't know what the procedure is administratively, we don't think it should be part of the record. Our submission from our office will be on point, as you say, Commissioner Yoon, and provide a little bit more clarity as to the specific issues that are being reviewed. And then, as I said, we'll follow that up with the official DOB submissions later.
Right, we are not analyzing it. That is
We're
true.
not reviewing it.
Yeah, BSA is not going to be analyzing compliance with City of Yes as to whatever plans are submitted to DOB. That is DOB's jurisdiction to determine. But if Mr. Dale would forward BSA a copy of a submission notice, just so we have in our record the timeline to show how this case continued and where it's going.
Most definitely.
Yeah, I do want a timeline of the next steps. And you need to keep us abreast of every submission that has been made to DOB and for DOB to kind of keep us abreast of what the status of the review and others are.
Should we provide a file by date?
Well, I can ask for a file by date. The question is, I don't want a submission to be made that is going to be incomplete and it's just going to burden DOB of doing the review. So I would think 1 month should be sufficient for your architecture team to be able to make all the corrections and submit, and as the kind of notes that Commissioner Yoon raised be corrected and be provided. Is that reasonable timeframe? You have talked to your client. Is that a reasonable timeframe?
I think it is reasonable that we would be able to have the initial filing at DOB within 1 month. Yes.
Should go to the public.
Yeah. Yeah,
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody goes on stream. Okay, the case that we're currently discussing is 2024-47A, 2315B DeMeyer Street, Bronx. Should you wish to comment, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 161-198-9084 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt after that, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press star 9 to raise your hand, star 6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hands at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you're recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to discuss. Ms. Radapur? Radapur, whatever. I'm sorry, pardon mispronouncing. You want to press the button? I think the buttons are, yeah. Hi, please state your name for the record.
Hi, my name is Merak Ratpavor.
Go ahead.
Ready? Mr. Dale, I just want to know who is the owner of the property? Can you please?
Ms.
That's
Radapur,
irrelevant.
You have to address the board.
That
first.
is irrelevant for
Oh.
this
Relevant.
case. The
Well-
case is very specific
Yes.
and
it
you
is.
need to stick to this
Okay,
case.
we need to clarify who the, because the owner of the property is Danica Mithoja on paper. We have court cases and Nick Vitucci states he's not the property owner, and here he states he is. So there's games being played and we need to clarify that because all the papers prior that were filed by Nick Vitucci are falsified documents.
Okay, so this is a what is before us is a DOB's request for revocation of action.
Yeah.
So you need to speak to the DOB's case. And DOB will address the ownership and who has the right to submit and file accordingly. So let's stick to that.
Right, because
Okay.
prior to this, all the documents that were filed prior, when the house was being built, were signed by Nick Vitucci. Nick Vitucci was never the owner. So we need to clarify that. That is very important because he is filing documents and lying to everyone.
Okay,
So that's very, very important.
okay, so proceed with what you want.
Okay, the other thing is, the property currently is being rented by, there's over 50 people going in and out of that house. Okay, the homes are too close. They are up all hours of the night. We cannot live like this. Okay, this is, I hear them coughing. It's to that point. It's absolutely ridiculous. The properties are way too close to each other, okay? And this can't be. We can't live like this. I mean, I can provide you video surveillance of them till 2 a.m, running in and out screaming. We have to sleep. We can't work. We can't do anything. And the next thing is the easement, okay? The easement was falsified prior to the property being built. My father never authorized, never knew about anything to create an easement. So Mr. Vitucci is just playing games and it has to stop. Because in one court, he says he's the owner. In one court, he's not the owner. In tenant court, he is. He's running a business out of the property and honestly, it should be revoked right now until everything is resolved. There should be no one allowed to be living in that property until everything is resolved because Mr. Vitucci is going to continue to play games because he's collecting $12,000 a month or more and running a business in an illegal apartment out of the property.
So anything else that you want to?
And I gave you all the documents that you guys could
So the
review.
photos, you did provide the photos. What are the photos?
Okay,
related?
so the one property is 2315 DeMeyer and the other is the one next to it. Those two properties were built in 1960. They're identical. Neither one has a garage because as we stated last time, we were speaking about the garage because of the zoning, okay? Because we've been paying taxes on no garage. There has been no garage. Neither property has a garage. So Mr. Gino Longo, who filed all these documents, was never hired by us. He falsified information, and that's why there was a hold put on. Because of the fact that once he was caught after all the complaints I filed within all different government agencies, then he basically went and acted as my father hired him, my father being Hushirad. And we had to notify at the time ASME to let her know that my father did not hire him and these documents that are being filed on our behalf are falsified.
Okay.
That's why the hold was put on place.
Okay.
Okay, now I've been trying to deal with this. This is nothing new. I've been trying to deal with this now for years. Okay, and the only reason why I was able to get through was because everybody, Mr. Warren Defoe, all these commissioners, everybody was just ignoring everything because Mr. Vitucci has ties to a lot of politicians and things.
I'm
So-
going to, I'm going to strongly suggest, stick to the subject matter. This is a,
Okay.
I will have to stop you from saying anything because the subject matter is related to revocation of certificate of occupancy. That's it. Please stay to that subject matter. This is not a different board. We are a board just that deals with that. All your other statements are related to other boards and you can make those statements there, but not here.
Okay, but the thing is that we complained about this whole property being built, okay? It's been years. And the only reason why I am where I am today with this is because Gladys, Mayor Adams' assistant, finally got me to Jason Randasky to review everything. So the only two people within Department of Building that have actually done anything, instead of just ignoring everything and putting it to the side, like Azmi did the last time after Mr. Vitucci met with him regarding this matter, the only two people that have tried to help is Mr. Rosen and Mr. Jason Randasky. Those are the only two people that have, and this is the only reason why we're here. This should have been done years ago. And everyone ignored everything.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else who wants to speak?
Vitucci's in the room. Oh, wait, Mr. The father wants to speak.
Yeah, please go ahead. Come.
Yeah. Not Halbas for the.
Hi, good morning. My name is Hushirat.
Want to move the microphone over just a little bit, Miss?
My name is Hushirat. I'm asking who is the owner on the 2315 B. DeMaya Street? Because sometimes it's a lady, sometimes someplace show Mr. Vitucci. I didn't know who is the owner. Then the other thing, the architecture never, he saw me, never I saw him. He sent a letter to the city from me, but never I didn't ask or never this never happened. And then a lot of the document they signed it in the city. It's with Nick Vitucci. Nick Vitucci never, he owned the property, never he has signed it or anything I did with him. But I don't know how he did hired the architect or how he signed all of the document in the city as owner, but never he was owner.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We understood. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you for coming and waiting. Who's the next speaker?
Mr. Vitucci's in the room.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. First, I apologize for the two previous speakers. Everything that they said was false. They make up stories. But anyway, to get to the point, the reason that the papers were a little delayed were because there was a hold on it, they had to use the adjacent property, 2311, and that's why it was on there and crossed off. As far as that, and I appreciate the 30 days to get everything done, and we will. As far as having tenants in there and 50 people, that's all false. And as far as Mr. Radpavar and Mrs. Radpavar, they both had me arrested and in criminal court for 3 years, put me in jail multiple times while I was building the house. And they were found, I know it's not relevant, but I was found innocent after 3 years, okay, of being in criminal court. They both lie under oath constantly, and they're lying now. Mr. Radpavar didn't even own the house until he sued us, because all he had was
Vitucci, and this is for both of you, Mr. Vitucci and for the representatives here for 2315A. Please.
Yes,
limit
I understand.
discussion
Sorry.
Only what is at hand. This is not a
I
criminal.
just wanted you, yeah, I understand. I just wanted you to know that they didn't even own the home. This is part of that. They didn't even own that home
Mr.
or have
Vitucci.
their name on the deed till after all the easements. This is
I'm
relative.
gonna mute you right now.
Mr.
I'm gonna mute you on
Mute
Zoom.
you.
Just for the record, this is a appeal filed by the Department of Buildings to revoke a certificate of occupancy for zoning noncompliances. Ownership is not a question before this board. Criminal history, not a question before this board. What is a question before this board is how a building was built and if it provides the right side yards, et cetera, zoning issues. It has been represented by the Department of Buildings that an application can be filed to correct these noncompliances. If it is filed and does so, DOB is going to revoke this, is going to withdraw this revocation action. If it does not, DOB will proceed with the revocation action. That is the only thing that we're here to discuss. Thank you.
Mr. Dale, please do proceed and please do try to remind your client of our process and deliberation method.
Understood. And yes, I thank you for your patience. We will provide the information that's requested, and we'll state very clearly that we understand that this is just about the zoning issues and the action the Department of Buildings has raised, and our submissions to the record and future testimony will stick just to those particular points.
This goes for everybody in this room, including you. No statement. Okay. All right, given that the applicant is proceeding to submit a plan within a 1 month time frame, would the board be okay to close it and wait for the proceeding to follow? And should the applicant fail to submit, then we would be in a position to revoke it.
Yes, because if they go forward as planned, we would have nothing left to discuss.
Right, but if they don't file, then we will be in a position to revoke it.
Yes.
Is that okay with everybody?
Agreed.
Motion to close.
Oh, okay. Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabetti.
Aye.
Shabeta,
Aye.
Shabeta, sorry, I apologize. Oh, my God. Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Shetta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So 1 month from now, application has to be filed. If not, DOB, please do notify us so that we can schedule it for revocation.
Yes, will do.
Understood. Thank you.
Chair will give them.
We will give the, yes, let's temporarily set up a time because it's 1 month. We will hold a time in our calendar 1 month from now. And if within the, and we will circulate that timeframe to you all. If you do not receive any submission or documentation to your side, any submission, please notify Ms. Matias, I think you're handling.
Yes.
So that we can schedule it for revocation.
Noted.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Okay. Next item is special order calendar 4/16/87 BZ, 547, 551 West 133rd Street, Manhattan. This is Neil Weisbard.
Yes.
Hi, good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Neil Weisbard on behalf of the applicant.
Is anyone with you, Mr. Weisbard?
No.
Okay, please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments and provide your update.
Neil Weisbard, on behalf of the applicant. I attended review session and the board has received our submission showing that progress is now taking place. One correction, the prefabricated spray booth has not arrived on the site yet, but it was shipped out last Thursday. It should be here early this week. And as was noted, the only issue to obtain the permit, and then once the spray booth arrives and can be installed, is the notice to proceed at the Mayor's Office of Environmental Remediation. I'm not sure if that's been filed yet. I was told on Friday that the architect was going to work on it. I haven't heard back yet this morning, but the architect's been working diligently on the applications. And as you know, the spray booth has been approved. So we're hoping that this can be heard at the end of, or a decision at the end of August. And hopefully by that time, the spray booth will be installed pursuant to proper permits. And then we'll reach out to FDNY to have the commissioner's orders rescinded and a letter of no objection issued by FDNY to your board.
Okay. Please do revise the plan, BSA plan, to include the DOB approved spray booth.
Okay.
And in your next submission, just give us if you can follow up with just a written thing as to the timeline, deliverables, expectations, so that we can schedule a closing. You said August, by August, everything should be in place. Is that what you're saying?
I would think by the end of August, FDNY will have inspected and we can get the letter of no objection.
Okay. Okay.
So we're looking at a September hearing date.
We are looking at a September hearing, yeah.
So that submission date, Neil, would be 8/21.
Okay.
If we're doing September 8th, 9th.
Yeah, but they can submit even.
And
to
even
that
earlier,
moment, because
yeah.
all we need is sign offs
Sign
from
it from
all the.
Fire department.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll keep the board up to date.
yeah.
Thank you, Neil.
Any questions or comments? Let's go to the public.
The case that we're currently discussing. Whoops. It's 41687 BZ, 547, 551 West 133rd Street, Manhattan. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you will enter the webinar ID number 161-198-9084 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt after that, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone. And if you're in the Zoom room already, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of the computer screen. Once you're recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
All right. My suggestion will be that given the progress that has been made at this short period of time since we reopened it, that we close it, but keep the record open for Mr. Weisbard's client to receive, install, inspected and approved, and then we can make it, we will be in a position to take a decision by September for an extension. That sounds good? Okay.
Clock's not running yet.
But in this case, at this time around, please do not have it delayed for another 3 years, because if we do not get a submission or approvals, I will be forced to take a dismissal. And I don't want to,
Understood.
because the investment that your client has made.
Understood.
Okay, motion to close. Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Weisberg. New cases, item number 12, 41350 BZ, volume 4, 691 East 149th Street, the Bronx.
This would be Hiram.
Hiram Rothko, yeah.
Yep.
Anyone else?
I don't know. Let's see whether he comes up. Good morning, Mr. Rothko. Is anyone participating with you?
No, only myself today. Thank you.
Raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do. Thank you.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Hiram Rothkrug for Vassalotti Associates. I attended executive review session this morning. And the first item I'd like to address is that the chair wanted to verify this is a 24/7 gas station operation. And I do have that in my notes to, in my statement of facts, that it's a 24/7 station. I'd also like to note that we originally notified the community board when we filed this application at the Board of Standards and Appeals, and we also notified them of the hearing date, and we have not heard anything from the community board. They have not reached out to us with any questions and have not scheduled a hearing. We'll provide a compliance chart with our next submission. I would like to point out that my statements of facts and findings do list all the conditions for the site throughout the various appearances before the BSA back from the 80s, and brings forth what conditions are relevant for today. But what we'll do is I'll make a chart that shows some of those prior conditions, and then we'll state when they were enacted and whether or not they're applicable anymore. So we'll break that out for the board. We'll put a note on the plan about the lighting, that all lighting be pointed down and away. I think the chair is correct that we don't know that those lot line windows on the building next to us are legal or not, but that notwithstanding that, we also think that we don't know if those are windows, if they're bathroom windows or hallway windows, because the windows look a lot smaller than the frontage. But in any event, we will put a note on the plan about landscaping, about the lighting. Additionally, we're going to fix the landscaping in the parking lot next to us, as shown on the plans. The chair said she went by there and there was no landscaping, so we'll address that right away. We'll also address, we'll strike the parking spaces for the employees and also have new signage put in with that. Commissioner Shedda asked about drums on the site. Those are maintenance drums. So when filters are changed in the multiple pump dispensers, the used filters are taken and put into those drums for transport away from the site by a licensed waste hauler. And then Commissioner Yoon wanted a little more information about kind of the separate tax lot used for parking. So we'll make a revision to our statement of facts and findings to include a better explanation of how that lot came about and how it exists, coexists with the gas station site now. Other than that, I think we've addressed everything.
Any questions, comments? Mr. Rothbrook, what you do need to do is also call the community board and ask them to schedule. Now we are approaching the summer break, so need to find out how soon they can schedule. Because as has been pointed out, and I do recall, there was a lot of opposition from community board in the past. So that would be critical.
I'll reach out to them and I'll send a note to Tony and Carlo advising what they tell me.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from, let's go to the public.
The case that we're currently discussing is 41350BZ, Volume 5, 691 East 149th Street, the Bronx. Should you wish to comment on this application, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the Webern ID number 16119898084 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you will press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you will press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute as you're calling in on the phone, And if you're in the Zoom room already and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to discuss. How much time will you need, Mr. Rothkrug?
Well, we could turn around everything, you know, in a relatively short time, in 30 days, but I'm not sure about the community board.
Right. I do want the community vote on this one.
right.
Our next hearing will be in July. We have 2 hearing dates. I will recommend that we schedule it for the second half of the hearing date. That will give hopefully the community board
July
enough time
28th.
to schedule something in the month of June. And Ms. Matias, I would also request that you reach out to the
I'll do that when
community
I
board.
finish the hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have a question. Do the commissioners feel they want to close or they want to keep that open, wait for the community board here, a viewpoint and then close and based on the revised submission?
I think we can close and wait on, and leave it open for the community board to submit their position.
Very good.
Okay.
So motion to close, Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye. So, community board, position, if they're waiving or if they're holding an executive meeting or if they're holding a board meeting or any of those, need to be, on the record. Revised statement of facts with regards to the zoning lot, revised compliance chart, revised plan. Anything else I missed?
The note on the plan, right?
Right.
Need a note on the plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had asked for one clarification on any prior condition limiting hours of operation.
Right, that was stated that it's a 24/7 gas station. I somehow I could not find it in the statement of fact, but the applicant has stated it.
Okay.
But if in your submission, do make that very clear.
In my statement of facts, I have a heading site operations where I spell out that it's a 24/7 station.
Yeah, we review so many things quickly, we
Okay.
kind of, we may have missed it. My apologies, but I will go through it again.
Not a problem. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
So I'm sorry, this was closed?
Yeah.
yes,
Thank you.
Okay. Go to the next one.
yes.
Okay. Raise your right hand again. Sorry, I just want to say. Do you affirm?
You have to call it.
Sorry, 64559 BZ, 1084, 10824 Flatlands, that's wrong, right? Flatlands Avenue, Brooklyn. It's Flatlands
Why
Avenue.
is it
Brooklyn.
wrong?
It says 10824. I guess that's the right address, 10824. Flatlands Avenue, Brooklyn. Seems strange, but 64559 BZ. Raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before this board and to respond honestly to board member questions?
I do.
Please state your name for the record and proceed to respond to the board's comments at review session.
Hiram Rothkrug for Vassalotti Associates. I'll start off that once again, the community board was notified of our filing of the application and also notified of the hearing date and have not contacted us or scheduled a meeting or reached out to us. We'll also, like in the prior case, we'll provide a new compliance chart. We'll provide a note on the plan about that the canopy lighting will meet the building code minimum, or I think it was minimum, right? Not maximum, it was minimum.
We will get back to you on that language. To
Just for the building code, it's minimum. For the board, it's maximum. For the board usually specifies maximum along residential, and the building code usually specifies minimum to make sure that the site is feasible and walkable during like dark times when it comes to lighting. So yes, with the building code thing, it's minimum, and it should, the language should say it shouldn't be less than the building code mandated minimum.
Okay. We'll revise the narrative as far as the C23 and what's permitted, illuminated and non-illuminated. And we'll also give you a signage chart by station frontage.
I would just for belts and suspenders, I would just add another note that at the property line, it should be no more than 2-foot candle.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Chair.
And that was it. Other than the community board, again, we should be able to address these items in a couple of weeks.
You will need to revise the statement of facts also to add the block and lot numbers and describe the site. That was one of my comments.
Okay.
Because if you look at the statement of facts, there is no information about the site. At least I didn't.
You're correct. You're correct, Commissioner.
And I'm not sure if the board want to get a maneuverability plan or not. I leave it to the board, but I believe if it was included in the previous submission, it should be included in this set as well.
Okay, thank you. Let's go. Any other questions or comments for Mr.? Let's go to the public. Front screen.
The case that we're currently discussing is 4559 BZ, 10824 Flatlands Avenue, Brooklyn. Should you wish to comment on this case, dial 669-254-5252. At the prompt, you'll enter the webinar ID number 161-198-9084 and press the pound sign. At the next prompt, you'll press the pound sign only. Once you're permitted in, you'll press *9 to raise your hand, *6 to unmute if you're calling in on the phone. And after the Zoom room are ready and wish to participate, please raise your Zoom hand, which is the little hand at the bottom of your computer screen. Once you are recognized, you'll have 3 minutes in which to discuss.
Okay, this case also I would recommend that we close. Is everybody okay with that? And we keep the record open to hear back from the community board. And also in this one, Mr. Rothko, please reach out to the community board directly. And our team also, please reach out to the community board. I would like to know what community board decision is, whether they're waiving it or executive board is meeting on this or a hearing. And of course, all these other revisions as discussed need to be submitted. So I would like to keep the same timeline as the previous one, end of July. Okay. That gives community board enough time.
Perfect for us.
Okay, no one has called in or raised their hands.
Yeah,
Thank you.
jealous.
Prenga, Ms. Prenga's hand is up.
Oh, this is not about this application. We
Excuse
received, my comment is not about this Flatlands application. We just received something on a decision item, set of plans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just wanted to let you know.
All right, great.
Thank you, Mr.
Let's
Rodriguez.
close this. Let's close this, Ms. Prenga.
Right.
First of all, hold up. Let's close this. case.
Okay, right. The motion to close, motion to close, Chair Shonda,
Aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown, Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yu.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Rothrick.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
And so which one are we going to?
Miss,
It's 2024-57 BZ. It's a
Okay.
parking reduction. They added signage. I can share the screen and show you if you would like.
Hold on, let's recall it.
It's
Oh,
okay.
okay, okay.
We're recalling for the record, decision item number 8, 2024-57 BZ, 13618 39th Avenue, Queens.
Okay, so we received a full set of revised plans. And this is what appears to me to be the sign note that was added, that the sign will be posted here.
okay. Okay. That seems good. All right. Is everybody okay with that? All right. And the plan is signed and sealed?
That's correct. Yes, it is.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Ms. Prenga.
Okay, so we're voting on this, right?
Yes,
So the motion to approve, Chair Shonda,
aye.
Vice Chair Shabeta,
Aye.
Commissioner Otley Brown,
Aye.
Commissioner Sheta,
Aye.
Commissioner Yoon.
Aye.
Application for 2024-57 BZ has been approved. Okay. The persons that are in the room here, Mr. Raymond, Ms. Delatru, and Mr. Carrion. If you have not heard your case today, there's another hearing tomorrow. There's another hearing tomorrow, and those cases are, 2025-10A 44 Wynett Place, Staten Island, 2024-51 BC, 1983 54th Street, Brooklyn, and 2022-65 BC, 2503 Coney Island Avenue, Brooklyn. Those cases will be heard tomorrow. Thank you very much. Should you have wanted to comment on any of the cases today, you may send something in writing to submit@bsa.nyc.gov. Thank you one and all for participating. This concludes the public hearing for June 16th, 2025.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.